And now I want, as she goes, you can clap again. And now I want to welcome Subodh Gupta and Bharti Kher, and I want you to clap very loudly for them. So, how many of you saw in Kensington in the last few days a cycle rickshaw stacked with tiffins? Or did you see that photograph on Instagram going viral? I saw some hands there. You saw it? Can you come to the mic and tell us what you saw? Come, just come quickly. Come quickly. I can't hear you from there. Come on. Don't take so much time. Come quickly, come quickly. What's your name?
My name is Tanya.
Yeah.
Hi, sir. I'm a big fan of you. Like, I wanted to be an artist at one point of time, but society and parents didn't support much, but that's a different story. But I did see that picture stuffed with tiffins, and it just came once or twice, but I was so happy, and I was looking forward to see you today and hear about your story. So, yeah.
So, and you said you saw that image on Instagram?
Yes. And yeah, so people, if you read the comments on that, like I happened to read it, people were confused. What is it about and what does it make sense and everything. So maybe when we talk around, so we can find.
Okay, so I want to tell you, Subodh and Bharti are very dear friends of mine, but apart from being dear friends of mine, they are, you know, two of the world's foremost artists. And Subodh came from Bihar, and Bharti actually came from right here in the United Kingdom till she made India her home, so she has that hyphenated identity. And this is a very unusual, you know, we've been talking in the last conversation about relationships and love. This is, by all accounts, it's an unusual relationship. I'll start with you. You came from Bihar. You didn't grow up with a lot of money. You didn't grow up speaking English. You taught yourself how to speak English. How did you get interested in art? How did you enter this world of high glamour where the Serpentine after party in London, in Kensington, has the Subodh Gupta installation? Subodh and Bharti's arts are pretty much unaffordable for regular salaried people. You grew up, I would even say, almost poor.
Yes.
Tell us about Bihar. And just hold the mic a little closer.
Well, thank you. Thank you for everyone to be here. Thank you, Barkha. Even I don't know how I become an artist. Honestly, I grew up in the small town called Khagol and a station name called Danapur. There was a railway colony. 99% of the population work in the railway. My father was in railway. My two brothers was in railway. I mean, they retired. And my brother-in-law in the railway too. So I came from the railway family. So I'm a railway boy. And one thing, something with this small, very little town due to the railway colony, has an influence of the British influence. So there is a railway cinema, the Hauji Club, and two swimming pools.
Oh.
And it's called officers' clubs. We're not allowed to go there.
You were not allowed to go there?
Because we were not that officer's sons.
Right. British colonial hangover, basically.
Colonial hangover.
Yeah.
So, well, but interestingly, I used to draw from my school. I don't know why I'm drawing, but I used to draw. And in India, most of the people who grew up looking the visual arts, they often only look the calendar art or the other small things.
Yeah.
So I used to also copy the calendar. No, just to draw calendar, Ram, Sita, Hanuman, Lakshman. And well, I grew up, and then when I went to the school, pass out from the school, even I don't know then that I'm going to art school. So.
And you spoke no English then?
No,
कुछ भी नहीं.
नहीं, बिल्कुल नहीं,
एक word भी नहीं.
नहीं. No.
स्कूल में नहीं सिखाते थे?
सिखाते थे, रेलवे स्कूल था.
Right.
तो राम भरोसे. Yeah. So, but there was in that small town, there was a small theater group, 5 theater group. And somehow my mother used to take me to watch theater. And the railway cinema, when you theater is, cinema is happening, this is become a 3rd class and the back one is a 1st class. But when theater is happening, this become a 1st class and that one become. So we used to go. My mother used to take me. And I think that influences me. That influences to become an
Artist. Or actor.
Yeah. So I joined the theater group and doing everything. I'm making posters, makeup, acting, stage design, everything. And after 4-5 years doing that, some friend of mine told me, you making nice poster, why not to go art school? So yeah, here you go. I went to art school.
Amazing story. Bharti, your journey was somewhat different. Yeah?
Yeah.
You were from here.
Yeah.
And where did you grow up?
I grew up in the suburbs of London, so I grew up in Surrey.
Yeah.
I knew I wanted to be an artist from, I don't know, from the age of 6. So I had unusual parents, and
What do you mean unusual?
they're Asians. They didn't push me to become a professional, i.e. everyone in my family, my cousins, everyone is a doctor, a lawyer, an accountant, or a dentist.
Engineer, you forgot?
Engineer, but mostly in England it would be like within the law and or banking, certainly. My parents were really, they were really easy and they really support, because I loved art and I loved drawing and I liked making things. And I had a really, really amazing art teacher at school who basically taught me how to see the world. And so I knew that from the age of, 13 or 12, that I was doing life drawing classes and I was going to go to art school because this is what I was going to do.
Yeah.
But what I didn't know what I was going to do, the only thing I didn't know, that I was going to end up living in India.
Yeah.
And going on this sort of 6-month trip that turned out to be the rest of my life.
Amazing. Now, here's you with your clipped English accent.
Yeah.
And here's Subodh with his self-taught
Yeah.
English from Bihar, Bihari English.
No English.
Spoken English.
No English.
No English.
Mic mein bolo na.
No English.
No
No
English.
English.
huh?
Yeah.
How does love happen?
Well, you see.
What language do you talk in to
Yes,
start
it
with?
is. This is what you have to understand. The language of art is a really fundamentally intrinsic and true and honest language.
Yeah.
And I think we are.
I think we can clap for that. Yeah. Yeah.
So we connected intellectually, but also somehow spiritually in the art, because we met in Gurry Studios. I went to look for a studio one
That's
day.
Delhi, by the way, for anyone who doesn't know.
I was
Yeah.
walking in and he was walking out. And he followed me back in. And I asked him, I sort of looked at him, I said, "What, are you from here? Can you show me, are there any studios here? I need to do some work." So yeah, he showed me a studio. He
And
showed
you
me-
said what?
Well, I saw her walking inside. I'm going, oh, I must, she's so nice. Yeah, so I follow her.
That's pictures of the younger Subodh and Bharti there on the screen,
God.
by the way.
I follow her, and yes, so come and see my art too. And she came to see my work. She
And
needed-
were you established by then? Were you this famous
No.
Subodh Gupta, or you were
Not at
like a struggling artist?
Very a struggling artist. I got the Lalit Kala Academy Gadi Studio Scholarship. I used to get 1,000 rupees a month and work. So studio was the biggest
1,000
help.
rupees a month.
1,000 rupees.
How
a
does
month.
anybody live on 1,000 rupees a month?
I can live him 5 rupees.
How?
The India is the only place you can live without money.
It's true.
Because
Because, you know, somehow everybody, even you people you don't know, you know them. So,
and you can just go to anybody's house.
Yeah, and you get food.
I'll tell you, from my travels across India, the poorest home
Yeah.
will feed you.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that is what makes our country so great.
Yeah, so that's exactly. I didn't have money to sometime to travel even in the bus.
Yeah.
Bus ticket could not buy. And I was the happiest person. I was very confident and I knew what I'm going to do. And I was making art fearlessly. I had money to buy the material,
Yeah.
like color and
Yeah.
paint. And that's make me happy. And it was one of the senior artists called Sanku Chaudhary.
Yeah.
And he given me studio. And I was very happy working, sharing a studio with him in Gade studio.
And it didn't bother you that he had no money?
No, because I was also kind of struggling artist. Look, so, when I met Subodh, I thought his work was amazing.
Yeah.
And, I saw his painting and
Yeah.
I was like, Jesus, this guy can paint. And I was very attracted to that, like
Yeah.
his art and his confidence.
Yeah.
And I was also I went to India when I was 22. I didn't
Yeah.
really know anyone. I had some family, and within about...
But you could speak Punjabi.
Yeah, they spoke Punjabi, but, they were...
You can speak?
Yes, a little bit, but I didn't speak Hindi.
Okay.
And not very well, and really badly. And after 3 weeks, I kind of was like, I can't live here. This is just not going to happen for me. I went and lived with a friend of my dad's and decided that, okay, I'm going to stay in Delhi because I tried to go off and do like my solo trip around India, which was not a very successful endeavor. And decided, okay, now I have to work here. So I decided that I'm going to work. And when we met, we had the same drive,
Yeah.
the same ambition, and the same journey. So
Yeah.
we did it together and we grew up together.
So, when I was titling this conversation, I called it a couple's canvas, but my producer, my team wanted to call it From Bartan to Bindis or From Bihar to Britain.
Yeah.
Because in a way, those journeys cover some sort of running, recurring themes in a lot of Bharti's earlier work. I know you've moved on to other sort of manifestations of your creativity now. But for you, the Bartan, Subodh, it really remains an essential part of your expression. And I don't know how many of you know, but Subodh, because his roots are so important to him, he's actually taken his art back home to the Bihar Museum and has never tried to, as he rises up the sort of social elite ladder, disown those roots. So can we talk a little bit about the Bartan?
Sure. When you are an artist,
So just hold the mic up a little.
when you are an artist, you always look for the language.
Yeah.
A language become very important. I trained as a painter, and still I paint.
Yeah, we have
And,
some of the
painting is the most
some of the stuff up on screen. Yeah.
Painting is the most important for me and one of the toughest medium to paint. But time passes, you making art. 15 years after passing art school, I did only painting, nothing else. No sculpture.
Yeah.
So once I got the UNESCO scholarship in Delhi, and UNESCO scholarship was 3 Indian artists and 3 European artists. We worked together in one place in Sanskriti Kendra, in OP Jain place in Delhi. During that time, I thought, okay, I'm going to experiment and do something. So my first sculpture installation, I thought, I just went back. Anything you write or anything you think, for me, is an art. I always go back my home, back to where I'm coming from.
Back to your roots.
Back to my roots. So I was remembering what is the most important thing I grew up with. And I remember we sitting in the patla and eating a lunch, breakfast and dinner. A whole family sitting on it. Later they have a table and chair, but mostly we grew up with the sitting in the patla. And patla is the most important for me. It's like for anybody have a chair. For us is patla. So I collected the patla.
Patla is the
Pidha, what you call?
what
stool,
we call
wooden stool.
Muda?
Muda.
Muda?
Muda.
हाँ,
Yeah,
पीढ़ी,
pidi.
हाँ, I think Punjabis call it pidi.
Yeah, pidi.
Pida, अच्छा पीड़ा.
Pida.
हाँ जी.
Pida. Exactly. Pida. We call pida. So we collected those. I think I collected 30, 40 of them. And I started doing painting and putting objects and playing with it.
Yeah.
And I did every patla I choose to one dream of mine. What is very important, and I try to put that. So I will put some herbs like a haldi in it. Then I will put some kind of food. Memory. I will paint on it. Then I did the bulb was hanging in my home, and I remember from childhood that bulb. So I even put that bulb in it. So that's how I made like 29 Patla, and it's called 29 Mornings. I given the title of the. That was my first installation.
Amazing. And that's been a recurring theme, but I just realized that I haven't actually gone into the audience at all. And if there's anybody who's been following Subodh and Bharti's work, or even if you haven't, if you have a question, yes. Can I ask you to go to the mic there? Please.
Hi, can you hear me?
Yeah.
So my name is Mukta. I have a question for Subodh. When you decided to become an artist, take up artistry in school, did you face any opposition from your parents? Because being in the railways is possibly a very stable job, right? And art wouldn't pay much, thinking about it back then.
Very interesting question. Other day, a year ago, I got call from one of the British artists, and he's a contemporary, and he said, I am making book of artists from the world, and I want your picture when you're 5 years old. And I looked at my picture, and I couldn't find it. So, honestly, I have two elder brother, 3 elder sister. I'm the youngest. So when I think my mother and father, they already got my elder brother have a photo. I don't have it. So totally, I was like, and my father died very young. He was 45 years old only with a stroke. And then I had to grow up, and then I was free almost. There was nobody caring so much what I'm doing, what. So I found my own way. And I think they did not, yeah.
Do you compete? Like, are you competitive with each other?
I think, yeah, we are. And it's really healthy. And sometimes, I mean, in the past, perhaps when we were younger, maybe it was a little bit unhealthier.
Yeah.
But now we're kind of like, we're a bit older. And so, yes, we go to each other's studio a lot. He is my second eye. If Subodh comes, or if I go to his studio, if he comes to my studio and there's something, we just go, finished? No. Out we go the door. And it's literally that one, the communication is much shorter, but it's very, I trust him instinctively, intuitively, in every way to tell me if this is good to go or if it's not good to go. But it's also that we go to work every day. We're kind of workaholics, the both of us. We work 6 days a week, and we'd work on Sundays if we probably could.
Yeah.
But because we like what we do, so when he's gone to the studio, I'm like, oh, what am I doing here? I've got to go. I've got to go.
Yeah.
Got to get to work.
I have time for one more question. Yeah, if you could get to the mic stand while I continue the conversation. Bharti, love and art, both of you would argue, conquers other differences. But does it really, in that, maybe the initial chemistry, connect, interest is because, art is a big glue. But when you had to actually move from here and make India your home, you maybe dream in a different language, and he dreams in a different language. He dreams maybe in Hindi or Bihari, you dream in English. Does that or has that impacted your communication? Because daily life isn't talking about art all the time. So what do you fight about?
Where do I start?
Just start anywhere.
Where do I start?
Anywhere. It's all relatable.
The thing is, people have this idea that a relationship is just, it's not. It's like hard.
Yeah.
And then you have kids and you put them in the mix, and then it becomes even harder. And then you have a career, and then you've got to travel.
Yeah.
And then you've got to manage your house and your studio and your relationships and your talk and all your everything. And you've got to make money, and you've got to get them into school, and you've got to pay the bills. So, how do we manage that? We're the same as you.
Yeah.
We're the same as every single other person in this room. We're facing our challenges on a day-to-day basis. But somewhere along the line, going to the studio gives you tremendous resilience, because art is a career, and it's not.
Yeah.
It's a journey, it's a calling, and it's also a great healer. So the studio sorts out all your everything for you.
Yeah, it's a kind of catharsis. Yes,
Yeah.
ma'am, your question.
Thank you all. My name's Preeti. I have a question which is not really about art as much, it's about culture in general. Subodh, I grew up in Bihar. My parents are still in Bihar. I was there up until I passed out of high school. And as I saw more of the world, and of course I grew up with a little bit of shame, and initially when I moved out, I had doubts about growing up in Bihar. But as I saw more of the world, I realized that Bihar, and specifically people in Bihar, are not all that bad. They're very good people. They always sort of encourage their kids. What is your view, and Bharti specifically for you? I understand you got to know India a bit later in your life, but now that you know India culturally well, what are your views on why is Bihar perceived like that, and how can it change? How can it be changed, Bimi? What can we do?
Yeah.
Bihar has a really one of the most important for me. And you know what? When anybody asks me where you coming from, I used to feel same before telling them that I'm Bihari and come from Bihar. So I always used to say that I came from the where the Buddha is enlightened. And it's true. Yeah, and Bihar is a place really, so many things going on there, and I'm very proud. I tell you, it's make me really proud to see the Bihar Museum. Bihar Museum is one of the best thing happened to the country, not only to Bihar.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And the architecture is a Fumakio. Maki Fumakio is a Japanese architecture. He was no more.
Yeah.
And I will say not a single contemporary museum exists in Bihar right now, except the Bihar Museum.
True.
And in India. Yeah.
Fabulous.
Yeah.
So, we could talk forever, but I have to say thank you to Subodh and Bharti. But I know that they're here for the day. I know a lot of you might want to talk to them in the break, catch up with them, look up their work. They're absolutely fantastic, true sort of ambassadors of the India story. So can we have a big round of applause for Subodh Gupta and Bharti Kher? And may I please have on stage from our side to both of you a small token of our appreciation, which is the Changemakers of India Award to both of you. Could you please, that's from us. Can we hear it for Subodh and Bharti? How are we doing? How about giving yourself a round of applause? Because you've been an absolutely fabulous audience, and